Recording is
discussing
on.
today in the subsequent classes that we are going to be having. We last week we installed Postman. So Postman is what we call an API testing tool or API testing tool or software. So it is kind of software we use to test API just for development purpose. Then what we are using it to do is to mimic the way we save document inside collection using MongoDB. Because what we are learning first is Mongo client. Then after Mongo client, we move to Mongoose after our Mongo client. So main focus for today is Mongo client. That's main focus. So Mongo client, that is when I said it last week. That is when you are directly communicating with MongoDB. So we are going to install MongoDB. So that MongoDB we are installing is called Mongo Driver, which we explained last week. Mongo, Mongo Driver. Mongo Driver. We have Mongoose, we have Mongo Driver. So Mongo Driver, that one directly communicates with MongoDB. But Mongoose is it does not directly communicate with MongoDB. And when you are using Mongo Driver, you are going to be writing more codes. Are you getting me? More codes when you are using Mongo Driver compared to when you are using Mongoose. Mongoose will be writing less code. In fact, the codes that you are going to be writing, let's say 100%, let's say the code is 100%, your code will reduce 40% of the code will be reduced, like it will remove 40% away. If you are writing something like 100%, you will be writing 60% compared to Mongo Driver that will be writing full codes. So you won't be writing much, but we need to we want to understand MongoDB very well, the way MongoDB works, especially adding what's it called? Adding document inside collection and so on. No, it's just okay. Adding document inside collection in MongoDB. You don't just want to understand the way MongoDB works. Using Postman, go with this one. Then after, you want to use the Express, go with Mongoose. So which we are still going to be doing later. So the reason why we are doing this Mongo Driver is because of we want to understand how to save information inside MongoDB, how to update information, update many and so on. We are going to do the same thing in Mongoose when we go to get the Mongoose. But the reason why we are doing it is so that we understand MongoDB very well. The database that you want to use for your backend, you need to understand it very well. Because you are going to be doing a lot of complex queries later, maybe on your own. It might not be the project that someone has given to you, it might be your own personal project. So that's the reason why. So we are going to be starting the what's it called now? Because I've explained last week, so I won't be installing any Postman again because we have installed it last week. Is that correct? I don't know if you are not here. If you are here, it's good. So we installed it last week, right? So what we are going to do is that since okay, no problem. So what we are going to do is that we are going to first we need some things. What do we need? We need um, Postman, we need MongoDB, we need NodeMon. Is that correct? Those are the things we need. So we are going to be installing them. So now the first thing is that I open the terminal. So I'll say npm init hyphen y to skip all the questions that it's going to ask us. Then after that, I will install Express, I will install MongoDB, and I will install NodeMon for auto restart of the server, just for development. So that anytime you add features to your code, you don't have to come and kill the server again. So I'll say npm coming. Something is not coming. So I'll say npm I express. Then after express, we want to install what? MongoDB. Then nodemon. You press enter. So while that one is installing, I'll just create our index.js. That one can be anything. The index.js can be anything. If you want to start working on the app, the first thing is that you have to first import Express. So Express, that's the first thing. You have to first import Express. So Express require Express. Then we installed MongoDB. Then you have to import MongoDB also. MongoDB. So which means you have to require MongoDB. Now we have imported Express. We have imported MongoDB. So let's create an instance of Express. So that we want to use Express. So that we can be able to use Express. And the request that we are going to be sending and that we are going to be getting, we want it to be in form of JSON data. So that's why I'm going to say app.use. So this app.use is used anytime you want to make use of middleware. It's a middleware. Anytime you see app.use, it's a middleware. Then another thing is that we need connection to MongoDB. So how can we make use of connection to MongoDB? What you are going to do is that so you are going to create a new instance of MongoDB that you have imported above here, this MongoDB. What you want to do is that you want to use it. You want to use it to connect to database. Are you getting me? You want to use it to connect to database. That's what we want to do now. And I say MongoDB dot. There is a method inside there called Mongo client. So that Mongo client will give us access, will allow us to be able to connect to MongoDB, to our database directly. So MongoDB. Now, what do you need for this one? You need what we call it a connection URL or a connection string. So that connection string, just because Compass, I'm using Compass at this point. So what I'll do is that I will come inside the this place, then I will copy. But let me just delete this one for now. Let me type it out. So what I'll do is that just come here and can you see copy connection string? So you have to copy the connection string. So after copy the connection string, the next thing is that you have to create a variable to hold or save that connection string. So connection URL URI MongoDB URI. Then you paste it here like this. You can remove this one. Now you have already copied the connection URL. The connection URL that you copied, that is what you want to use this Mongo client to connect to. So what you are going to do is you just write the connection URL here. So then after you've done that, we are going to initialize a connect method. I get me. We are going to initialize a connect method because you have to connect. What you've done now is just you have only set up the URL. That's all. You have not connected yet. You have not written the thing that is going to help you connect it yet. I think it's not correct. It's correct. MongoDB.mongo client. This one should be correct if I'm not mistaken. So let me see. MongoDB client or Mongo client? Mongo client. Mongo client. It's supposed to be Mongo client. Now what we are going to do is that we want to connect now. In order for us to connect, we are going to say client.connect. That's all. When you trigger this connect function, automatically it connects. So how do we want to know if the MongoDB is connected or not? So we can use a promise. We call it a promise or dot then. Dot then is after the connection. What do you want to? What is the aftermath or what do you want to see next? After the connection, if the connection is successful. When you say connect at this point, so this connect will return a boolean to you. It's either true or false. It's either it connects or it failed, which can bring error. Now, if it connects and if you don't put this dot, then you can continue to make use of it. But it is good that you yourself you are 100% sure that your database is connected and everything is working fine. So you have to write dot then if the connection is successful. So what I will do is that if connection successful, if the connection is successful, so what do you want to do? You want to write a callback function like that will display something. You want to say database connection successful. This is the connection URL. Then you have like this, you are setting it up. Then after you've set it up, then client.connect to what? Connect to this URL. Can you see client dot what? Connect. It will connect to the URL. If the connection is successful, it will log to the console database connection successful. That's why you are having doc then. Then dot cache. You cache any error if there's any error. You want to get the error. That is. Also, let's move the. So basically, that's how to write for the connection and which is going to connect. Now, the next thing is that we need to set up our server. Yes, we need to set up our server. That's the next thing. In order for us to set up our server, it's very, very simple. Just app.use, you've already set up your server. You see app.use or app.listing? App.listing. Then you pass your port number here. Port number is important. It's a must. You always pass your port number. So I'll say app.listing. So what port should we use? 5319. That's the port number we want to use. Just forward it. So if the server is running without any error, we want to log to the console. Server is running on port 5319. Server is running on port 5319. That's all. Now there's something we call middleware in Express because Express is based on middleware. Middleware, they are custom codes. That's all. They are custom codes that you write. Anytime you want to write custom codes, then you go. That means that you are writing a middleware. Because in other frameworks or other libraries, if you are having error in your application, they can help you catch the error. Like they have the people that have written those frameworks, they have written some inbuilt code that will help you catch error. But in Express, no. You have to set everything up yourself. So that's the reason why you're going to be using what we call middleware a lot. Middleware for everything. Middleware to check if someone is admin. Middleware to check if someone is logged in. Middleware to check if the password is correct. A lot of things, custom code, and it is good when you have power over your code base. You are going to be able to write custom codes other than following the predefined way that some people have defined. So you will be able to write your own logic. It is you that you are going to write your own logic from scratch, which is very, very okay. It just gives you that customized functionality in your application. You will be able to customize your own app to your own taste. So that's the benefits of using it. So now let us write a what we call the error middleware, like a middleware that is going to help us undo errors. So in order for us to write error middleware, let's write const this error middleware, we are still going to be doing it a lot in Express. So we don't need to worry too much. But the reason why we are writing is so that we can be able to catch the error and we can be able to display the exact error that is happening. So what this one will do is that for every request that you're going to be sending, either you are updating, if you update, you are sending request to the server, which means you are telling the server to what? Update. If you are deleting, you are sending the request to the server to what? To delete. Now, for every request you are going to be sending, or for every action you are going to be performing, this middleware will be checking them. If it will be checking those routes or those requests, if there's any error. If there's any error, it will take the error and log it, will send it. But if there's no any error, it will just keep it, like it will go to next, like the next function. So that's the why we are going to be having next here. Number one, we need error, request or response. Because when you talk about response, now for example, now you have written some particular route that you don't have inside your express, like something that is not pertaining to your express. Maybe you've written the wrong thing. You send a request to the server, it can be any request. When you send the request to the server, you need the response. Now that error middleware will send response for you. It will send the error response to you from the server. That is the response. You are supposed to get error. For example, now you want to log into Facebook, you press the wrong password there. Facebook already have what we call the error middleware for their login. So if there's any error, it will send you error on the browser that you cannot log in because your password is not correct. So, and if your password is correct, what do you think it will do? It will log, take you to what? The dashboard of Facebook. It will tell you, it will allow you to log in, whereby you can go and post picture, message, and do other functionality. So that's what we call the next function. We have what we call next function. So that's the meaning of that next function that we are going to pass in as parameter. So error middleware. So for it, we need the error, we need the error, we need the request that you're going to be sending to the server, then we need the response that the error middleware is going to be sending to you based on each error that you're going to be getting. So for every request that you're going to be sending, that you're going to be sending, this error middleware will be checking them one by to check if there's any error. Then if there's no any error, it will next you. For example, you want to save any information inside database, like you want to add a particular student. If there's any error in your database, what it will do is that the error middleware will just send you the error. It will not proceed to the next. But if there's no any error, it will just go to the next. That's the reason why we are passing the next function here. So now, rest, if there's any error, rest does status. I believe we've already gone through the status code before, but if you don't understand, maybe when we get into Express fully, we are going to be explaining what the status code is. Cool. Rest does status 500. So that is server error. Rest does status does send error dot message. Then, because it is a middleware, what do you think we are going to do at this point? If it's a middleware, what are we going to do? Eh? Yes, app.use, because it is a middleware. That's why we are using app.use. So app.use. That's the next thing. App.use. App.use error middleware. That's all. That's basically what you need for error handling middleware. I think we have error somewhere. Oh, this is supposed to be an arrow function. Now, after that, after you have created the middleware, the next thing is to create our database and our collection. I'm listening.
That makes this like this
Mm, no, it's not built in. But that is the convention they used to use.
so you can play with
You
it.
can put anything there. I want to proceed. We don't have much time. We have a lot of things to cover. Now, the next thing after the creation of error middleware is we need a database and we need a collection that we are going to be saving our documents in. Because MongoDB is a document-based database. So we need to create our database. DB is equal to client.db. What's the database? Our database, let's give it, uh, what's the database? DB. Then our collection, which is student, let's just save it inside the student variable. So it will be db dot what collection, which means you are trying to put collection inside the database. Student like this. Now you have created a collection. Now one thing about the collection is that if you don't put else here, collection is used to save multiple things. So it is going to the database, the way they have engineered it is that it is going to help you add S there. So if you put it, you don't put it, it doesn't matter, just leave it like this. So instead of the students that want to put there, but just leave it like that, the database will help you put S there. Now, what we want to do now is that we want to add a single document inside here. Just a single document. How can we add a single document at this point? So what we are going to say is that we are going to say, I don't even know whether our database is running, so let us just run it. And we installed, what's it called? Node man. We have not even set it up yet. So let's just quickly set it up. We are going to be using index.js. So nodemon index.js. So you will say npm on start. Now they said res. Can you see now? Duplicate parameter not allowed in this context. Can you see? So we're supposed to pass a request here, then response here. That's the reason why we're getting the error. Now can you see how we are no longer getting the error after we've collected this thing? So now what we are going to do is that we want to add, look at it, add single document. So how can we add single document? Because of it is a post request. So what we are going to do is that we are going to say app.post, then just do slash student like this, student slash student, which means when you go to slash student route. So what do we need? You need the request, response, and the next. So next, that one means perform the next thing that you're supposed to perform. When we get to express very well, we're going to be using this thing a lot, so you don't need to worry yourself too much. And it is good that you understand this express JS lifecycle, because at the end of the day, everything will be more simplified when we start building API. I show you what we use and the current tool we use to build API, which we call Express Async Handler, which is very okay. So by doing something like this, you are going to be writing less code when doing using Express Async Handler and so on. So that's the reason why. But just focus on this one. Request, response, next. Now, what do we want to save information inside? We want to save information inside where? Student. Student dot insert one. We have a MongoDB method called what? Insert one. So insert one, the name of the student is what? Aliu. And the email, we need the email of the student. That will be aliu@mail.com. Then we need the age of the student, which is 16 years. We need the department of the student, which is CS. Now, by pressing this one, if you test this thing, and if what we've done is correct, we are expected to have the information that we are putting here. We are supposed to still see that same information in the database. But right now, how do we know? What we are going to do is that you can say dot then if the information was successfully saved, or say res dot status code 201. 201 means created. All these things that we are saying here, they are on the Go platform. But I can see that you guys have not been working on it. But you see that you don't even complain. So, but I will still advise you to continue using it. The reason why I'm not saying anything so that people are thinking maybe as I'm telling you to do it, maybe the thing is doing anything to me. It's not doing anything to me. But if you don't do it on time, there are some particular things that will happen when you are trying to build your project or another thing. That is why I'm asking you guys to do it on time. So that the work will not be too bulky. There are several factors that guide that platform. That is why I'm asking you to do it. It's not as if maybe if you don't do it, something will happen to me or anything. It does not cost anything from me. So we want to get response, res dot status dot send, student added successfully. Any question? Dot cache. We want to catch error. If there's any error, don't worry, we are going to be doing this thing a lot. So by the time we do it maybe like 2, 3, 4, 5 times or 6, 7 times, you see that we just know how to do it. Res dot status. If there's any error, you want to take the error, then res dot status dot um, the status code, which is 500 dot send. You want to send the error response, error dot message, error dot message. So that's it for this one. So I think that's what we need for this first one over here. So what we are going to do is that we are going to go inside the postman. So in the postman makes of what we call collections for everything. So what I'll do is that I'll create another collection over here. Let me see. I think they have what we call workspace. But I'll create a new collection. So can you see REST API basics, REST API basics, and I think I want to rename it. So I want to rename it. I want to give it another name. So I'll give it MongoDB client like this. So we want to start with the post. So that now inside the MongoDB client, you can do what we call create what we call request. Let me delete. I don't know the reason why. Maybe my mouse is too fast. But anytime I click, the thing will just close this one. This is what I'm working on. I even delete this one if I want to delete it. So we want to create a new request. If you want to create a new request, just press here. Let me delete this. You press here. Can you see? Add request. Just press add request. Can you see? Request was created. So now I will just give the request. Look at the name of the request. I'll give it add student. That's the name of the request. You can give it anything. It does not matter. And you have to change it to post because when you check your your method very well, you see that this is a post method. So that's why you have to use a post method for that also. So now after that, you have to write the the server what was it called? The way the server is going to locate your application. Your server is running on port 5319. So you have to write http colon slash slash localhost colon 5 what 5319 5319 slash what slash student. Is that correct? Now like this, let's press send. Can you see? Student added successfully. We have already created student. If you should go and reload database, let me delete this one for now. Or I should just let me leave it for now. Let me delete this one. I don't think I need this one. School. So if I should reload it, look at it. If I should refresh it, can you see that we have the Galia DB, which is our database that we have created before. That's the database that we have created before. This is it. And when you check inside here, we are going to see the collection that we are calling students. It's not putting students there. Okay. I don't know. Now it's not an issue. If it will be Mongo, it will add it there. But let's keep it. Let's see what we have. Now, can you see when you check here now? Can you see that we are now have this document inside the collection at this point? Is that correct? You now have it here. Look at it. Yeah. So another way in which we can add students apart from this one, that you are going to be doing that one next now. So what we are going to say is that I will copy this one. If you have tried it, if it is not working, let me know immediately. I'll paste this one here and I'll comment this one. Now for this one, we don't want to be directly posting the document there like this. We don't want to be doing it like this. We want to be doing it from Postman. So how can we do it from Postman? We have request.params, we have request.url, we have request dot a lot of things, and we have request.body. Now we are going to be doing it with the request.body with the phone. Phone is disturbing. We need the name, the email, and the what? The age and the what? Department. That is coming from where? Request dot request dot what? Body. Now this is coming from request dot body. Request, even though when you save something inside the server, you are still requesting for something at this point. For example, you save some document inside Google Drive. Google Drive will send you a response. Is that correct? That document successfully saved, or any other success message they want to send to you. So now, how can we do this? We are going to send it in form of a object, of JavaScript object. So we are going to create object based on that. By saying student insert one. So this is the key. Look at this. This is what? Key. And this is the value. This is the key. This is the value. This is the key. This is the value. This is the key. This is the value. Now, what we want to pass here is the value. Whatsoever I want to press inside the request body. So I'll pass email here. I'll pass email and I'll pass age here. I getting that? And I'll pass the person's department here. Now, one thing I want you to get here is that don't allow this place to confuse you. It's very, very simple and straightforward. And it's better you just pay attention. If you want to save document in MongoDB, this is the pattern you're going to follow, especially in the Express. This thing that you're saying, this is the way we used to save. So there's no two way about it. That's why I used to advise pay attention, listen, pay attention, listen. This name you are seeing here, is this name. Now, when you talk about the request body, I get it. Request body is whatsoever you are going to be pressing here. Let me show you. Look at the body. I'll press this body, then I'll press raw. Right side is in JSON. Is that correct? When you look at it very well, it's in JSON format, right? So now what I'll do is that let me see if I can copy something from here. Let me just copy it because it has to be in form of object. It has to be in form of object like this. Look at it. Like this. Don't forget to put this in a string like this. 19. You have to do it like this. You have to do it like this. Now, when you talk about request body, look at it. Request body. Request body is what you are trying to send. As if you are filling a form now, register form. You know you are going to press inside the form input. Then you send request body. Now the body is the body of the form. Now I want you to take this as a form. If you are building API, there's nothing like browser unless you are a front-end developer trying to consume the API. This is not this is backend. So if you are doing backend, you have to prepare your mind that you are doing backend. And it is, as you are seeing it is not a joke. You have to really understand the way things work behind the scene. They are because backend things used to work behind the scene. Now if I try to send this thing now, I want to change the name to Monday. The name of is it Monday or Ade Kunle? But this one will be Ade Kunle. Now let me send it again. Guys, and we have successfully sent. And if I check here, sorry, if I refresh here, guys, I will now have Adekunle inside our database at this point. Yes, we now have Adekunle inside our database. Now, that is how to post something from the request body. I told you before, request body. This is the request body. Look at it. This is the request body. I explained before. And I already said if you have any question, you should ask. So if you don't have any question, which means you understand or you understood what I've explained before.
When the first method that I use, not putting
It's not putting you bring it, let's face it. It's not as if you sit down there.
now.
Put it there. If it's not working, it's better you just bring it. Let's fix it.
The first one. So in the post
Wait,
one,
wait, wait, wait. Don't jump, don't add it together. It's in the post what happened?
the post one, that is
Then here's your status there.
but it's in the compass, it is showing the data.
This, are you sure you're breathing this thing? Already? What are you doing? This thing is supposed to be down. Which one are you doing here? You don't follow what I'm doing here.
compass. It's the compass.
request response, request response. But then it's not different. That's the error analysis. What was this video explaining? He said dot then is not different. Dot then. It is that error message that is helping you to catch the error. Can you see how useful it is? Now, how can we insert multiple documents in MongoDB? Multiple documents in MongoDB. If you want to insert documents in MongoDB, that will be inside of an array. Array is an heterogeneous data type that can contain other data types. It can contain a string, object, numbers, and so on. So it will be app.post slash what? Student, then request response next, then const name. Like you want to insert multiple documents at this point. That's what you're trying to do. If you want to insert multiple documents, you can follow the same approach I did before by just putting everything directly in MongoDB, or by putting directly in MongoDB, which means that, look at what I'm saying, you can come and be writing it here, or you can just come and put everything. I'm coming. You can come and put everything here like this, like insert menu. You write insert menu, then you put this thing inside of an array, then you write this person's name. Where is it? You write this person's name. After you write written this person's name, you create another object. You write another object again. You write another object again, which means you are trying to insert many. But at this point, I'm not trying to do this one. You can do the one I just mentioned, but I don't want to do this one. I want to use the request body to do it, which means I want to get access to it from the postman. I want to send it from the postman. So that's the reason why you are going to be using that. So this one is when you are trying to insert many documents in MongoDB at this point. So let me just copy this part since they're almost the same thing. So what I'll do is that I will comment this. Yes, I will comment this. So instead of using insert um mon, I'm going to be using, in fact, we don't need this particular one that is here for now. Let me just remove it. Let me remove it. I don't need this one. So we are going to be using insert many. Is that correct? Dot what? Insert many. Look at it. Insert many from what? Request what? Request body. Like this. Request dot body like this. Insert many. Insert many. When you want to insert many documents. So request dot body, whatsoever thing that you are passing inside the postman should be saved inside the database. So now this one will be students, because we are trying to add multiple students. Request body. So it will be, what I'll do is I'll just copy this. Let me just cut it for now. Then I'll paste this, comma. I'll paste it. I'll put comma here again. I'll paste it. I'll put comma here and paste it again. Let me draw this one down. So let me go and edit. This one will be, let me put age range of, maybe like this one should be maybe like 19 years. This one too is 19 years. This one is and this and the sir at mail.com. This one is Adam. Let me put Adam here. Adam. So this one will be Adam. This one will be John. 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 This one will be 21. This will be 26. This will be studying English. This one will be studying Yoruba, and so on and so forth. So now let us save all these documents inside MongoDB now at this point. So I'll save it now in MongoDB. So I'll press send. Now as you can see now we have successfully added all the students inside MongoDB. Students added successfully. Is that correct? Yes. So let's come and check our database. Let's refresh it. When you refresh, you can see that we have successfully added all these students that we talked about before. We have now successfully added them to our database now at this point. So what we are doing is that the request.body. I told you before that request.body is what you have inside this postman, right? Is that correct? What you are passing here, and it's in form of what? JSON. And the reason why we are able to use JSON with Express is because there's some kind of computing stuff that is going in background that you don't know. That is why you have all these node modules that is here. If you check here, you see that we are trying to pass the app.use express dot what JSON. That's the reason why we are able to what send JSON response or JSON request to the server. Are you get what I'm saying now? So that's what the request body is. So that is for insert menu, which is this particular one that is here. So insert menu document in MongoDB. Is it going? Are you getting it? So before we go, I just want everybody, you are going to talk about it. So I want you to go and go do research. You can write it down. Do research on what is promise in JavaScript. That's number one. Number two, what is async await? Number three is the dot then. I will ask each and every one of you tomorrow. What is dot then? How does it work? The dot then or promise. Number one, promise. Number two, the dot then. Then number three is async await. Async await. Async and await. So how does it work? You can check a YouTube video or anything. That's just an assignment. I will proceed. Now, the next one is how can we find a single document in what? MongoDB now at this point. find single document document from database. How can you find a document inside a database? This one too is important. Knowing how to find your document using MongoDB client. This MongoDB client that you are seeing, some people might think is not important. It's important though. It's important though. All these things they can ask someone in interview. It's not only by sitting down asking you to say it. They can ask someone to use Mongo client to practicalize things. They will not tell you to use Mongoose because Mongoose is simple. They will tell you to use this one that is more. Some people don't know it and they have been writing backend for the past 4 years and they don't know it. It's possible. Yes, it's possible. It's because of they skipped it, they moved to Mongoose. You can skip it and move to Mongoose. It's possible very well. And you are still going to be doing backend fine. But there are some things that you might want to do. If you really want to be a core software engineer, you have to understand everything that is surrounding that thing, everything totally. That's the reason why you need to understand it totally very well. So that's the reason why. So it's not as if you cannot skip it and move to mongoose. We can skip it, it's possible, but don't skip it. It's very important. Add it to your skill set. When you do it finish, push it to GitHub. You do the code finish, push it to GitHub. Let people know that you learned how to use Mongo client. You can put it on LinkedIn that you've learned how to use Mongo client, something like that. It will boost your networking. It will boost your what's it called in the community. It's not I mean I don't used to do it, but there are some people that are doing it and it is working for them. So which means you can finish from here and get a job. It's possible very, very well. Because as you are posting those things, some companies can be higher, they can start eyeing you down that this person is doing such a thing. You can start posting. So that's the reason why. So now the next thing is now is that you want to send, you want to send, you want to get, right? We want to find document. So if you want to look for document in MongoDB, comment which one is it? This one is okay. This one is inserting mainly. So if you want to find a single document, you can say const. Let's say you want to find by. Let me start with this first. Then subsequently, I can now start increasing. Now I want to find. Look at it. Find one. Find one. Please take note of all these things that we are explaining here. Take note of all these things that we are explaining here. Find one. Now, what do you want to find? You want to find the name. What name is the person? Or what's the name of the person? The name of the person is. Let me see. Let me reload. The name of the person is Adekunle. As we are looking for Adekunle. So I don't just copy this Adekunle over here. I'll come here and I'll paste it in the string like this. Look at it. And I also want to display the data. Can you see data? That's why I said you're going to do research on that dot then very well. Data. Then data is the data that you want to data. Look at something. You are looking for a name. You guys are not listening. You are not listening. You are looking for a data. You are looking for a data in MongoDB or a document in MongoDB. After you look for that data, you are supposed to get you are supposed to get something now. Like you are looking for something. Definitely, when you have to get that thing. If truly you know that this thing you've seen it, you have to get it. Like you should be able to display that thing. Is that correct? Yes. So data is the data that you are getting back. Want to get the data back. Now find one because you are looking for what? Just one single document. Is that correct? So how do we go about it? We have already passed it here. So all I have to do is to just what? Just come to this place and send the request. That's all. I don't forget about this one. Just send the request. And it should be a get. Don't forget, it should be a get request. This thing has to be what? Get, not post. Get. You are looking for something. It should be a get request. So let me send a request. Can you see now it display all the information of what? Adekunle. This is Adekunle document. Look at it. And Adekunle has what? A unique ID. What are we looking for? Find one. What are you looking for? Adekunle. This point. Is that correct? You're looking for Adekunle. You can find by the email. You can look for a single document by what? The email. You can look for a document by what? Age. I don't even think you are getting what I'm saying. You can look for a document by email. You can look for a document by age. Yes, it's possible. You can look for a document by email, by age, and so on. So now what we want to do is that, apart from doing it like this, you can say you can get it from what we call the request query. Const email. But this time around we are looking by the email. You don't want to use name. You can use name. You can use email. So request.query. Request.query. I'm coming. I'll show you what a query string is now. If I do something like this, so this is a query string. Look at this place. Can you see this thing? Can you see this queue? Queue is this queue query. This queue is for query. That's what I used to search. That is the backend engineer of Google that use this thing. I've done something like this before in different programming languages, PHP, Python, and so on and so forth, JavaScript, so many times. This query string is called query string. Can you see the queue here? Queue is just like can you see that you are putting question mark here, search, then the question mark. So which means you are asking Google something. So they call it query string. So most cases it is the work of the backend developer to do this, or backend engineer. It is their work to do this. And at some point, when your database starts scaling, it can be a little bit complex. So you need to know how to do something like this also. It's important. So now can you say is equal to mark query is equal to mark. Now you are querying what? Mark Zuckerberg, which means you are looking for Mark Zuckerberg. You are asking who is Mark Zuckerberg on what? Google. Is that correct? So that's what query is. Query string. Now how can we use this query string? You are going to say you are going to use that same find one. Then we are looking for it using what? Email. Is that correct? You pass key here, key, which is just a key. Then you pass the value, which is what you are typing inside here. Query string, like what you are going to type in the postman. Query. I'm going to show you the query. The query is supposed to be here. Coming. The query is supposed to be here. Something like this. Look at it. Look at this. If you go to page, something like this. It's as if you are looking for something. You want to query the database. But I'm going to show you the simpler way by using the this part, or by using params, either of the two. But this is still query. So email is the email you are going to press in there. Email like this. Now what I'm going to do is that I also want to get the data. I want to get the data. Yes. So what I'm going to do now is that I want to say I want to look for email. Look at the email. Email. If the email is equal to what? Let me check the email here. Look at it. If the email is equal to Adam. So if I do something like this, what it is going to do is that it is going to bring me all the information of Adam. Sincerely speaking, that's what it is going to do. Because you are using request query. You are querying. Query. If you check the term query, we used to query database. You want to check it very well. That's why you see something like database queries and so on. So now, if I should send a request, let me send a request again. Can you see now that Adam at this point. So it means that the query you have typed here is correct. So that's the way they build queries. The way they used to build it in backend. And when you check the params here, look at params, these parameters. So which means if I come here and put, I can remove this one and I can put age. If the age of the person is what? What's the majority age there? If the age of the person is what, 26. So and when you check very well, you see that it is only Adam that is 26, alright? So as I'm type, can you see when I typed age here, automatically it come and put this thing here. Can you see now? Then if I put 26 here, if age is equal to what? 26. So it's either you make use of this one as if it is a form, or you come and type it here, either of the two. So this is the way we build query in Postman. Then you press send. Oh, is it created? It's not supposed to be created. Request the query, you send. Or I cannot use. Wait. Let me use the mail again. Let me just toggle it and use it again. Let me untoggle this one. Let me send. Can you see we are able to get this person now? I think the reason why this one is not working is because of. But don't worry, at least it is already working like this. So we are able to get Adam. So that's the way we build queries. How can we look for multiple documents? How can we find multiple documents in MongoDB? How can we find multiple documents in MongoDB? That's the next thing. I believe as I'm doing this thing, you are also testing it out. So now how can we find multiple documents from a database? So the way we can find multiple documents from a database, multiple documents, is that correct? Documents is that, look at it. I'll say, I'll comment this one because I've tested it. Multiple documents. What I want to look for, I'm going to be using the request query. I want to look for the age of the person, then the request query. At this point, I want you to be very, very careful at this point. I want everybody to look up. I want to console log that age first, also. And not only console logging it, I want to console log the word, the word, the type. I want to show you the type of. Don't worry, you write it there. I just want you to pay attention. This place is technical. Me that I say it's technical, I know what I'm saying. Some people used to think back in there are some things that people don't pay attention to. They'll just do it, and it does not work that way. Now, for example, now if I do this, let me comment this for now. Let me first comment this one and this one. Let me see. Let me tell you what will happen. Age, then the age that will be passed here from the request query. So we want to look for multiple documents, right? And when you check here, you see that we have no. We have 19 year, 19 year, 19 year, 16 year, right? One, two, three. So two people are 19 years. Is that correct? No, three persons, people here. Now, what will happen is that let me go inside this place. When the age is equal to 19, and let me send. Can you say we are not getting any response? Is that correct? We are not getting any response at this point. Let me do this. Let me go and send the response again. I'll tell you the reason why. Can you say we are still not getting any response? Is that correct? Now, when you check it, can you see this is a what? It's a string now. Yeah, it is a string. And what we have there is a number. So these are one of the errors that someone can face when doing something like this. Which one is this one? Hey, what have I done? Which one is this one? Which one is this nonsense like this? npm on start. So how can we do this one? Now, let's try this again. You should know this one will give you a string, or to turn to a string. Query what? We used to call it query string. Anytime anything you write inside that URL is a string because it is a test. Comment this one. So what we are going to do at this point is that we are going to say, look at this thing. Find multiple words. Find multiple words. Document, which means there are many. Is that correct? So you say age, then pass int, pass int age, like this. That's all. Pass int, we turn that into what? Integer. Is that correct? Is that correct? Then let's try and go and send it again. Let's see if we get the result. Can you see that? But we are getting one. But oh, sorry, it's not find one. Find. Dot find. It's supposed to be find, please. Find will get you multiple documents. If you want to get multiple documents, use find. You get, not find one. Send. Can you see that we're not getting? Can you see? Student.find.then is not a word, a function. We are not getting error now. Now, if we want to fix this error, what we are going to do is that when you want to save multiple documents inside MongoDB, what do? You save it inside of what? An array. Is that correct? Yes. So in this kind of scenario, what are you going to do? To what? Array. Let's see. Can you see that we are not getting them back now? So that is the trick behind that place. You want to save things inside MongoDB, multiple document. You save it, you put everything, you number it inside what? Array. Definitely, if you are to get it back, you are supposed to get it inside in form of a what? An array. Is that correct? So that's the way that one is working. Do you understand that what I just did now? Yeah? Do you understand? Any question? Adekunle? Yeah? Do you have any question? Eh? Eh? Finally, is it not working? Because of this one. Load. Load this one. Okay, request for unexpected JSON. Unexpected JSON. Go to work. Are you sure this name is inside database? This unexpected JSON. Consider as the listing. I'm not going to. This particular one, is it dot query or dot body? It's dot query. Find symbol. Check it very well. Let me show you. If it's the same thing. Is it the same thing? Come on.